Hello, everybody, and welcome back to another exciting edition of Think Tank Sports. Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen. Check us out on the socials, if you will. Facebook, that thing called X, Instagram, of course. No TikTok for us. Um, just not happening. So don't even hold your breath. Listen to us on Spotify for podcasters or wherever you get your podcast. We are out there for your listening ears. And watch us, of course, on YouTube. Like and subscribe. We would love that as well. Um, so here we are. It's Thursday, November 16th, the year 2023. And we're going to talk some NFL. We've got some games from week 10 that were compelling, and some real intriguing matchups for week 11, as the NFL season flies. It's week 11. Holy cow. The season is going by very quickly. But yeah, so we're going to do that. And of course, alongside me, my tag team partner, Mike. Mike, how the heck are you? And for the moment, it looks like Mike has frozen up. So we're going to take a pause here and get right back to you in a moment. And we're back. So now that Mike is unfrozen, Mike, how the heck are you?
I'm doing fine, technical difficulties aside, and my Giants and your Bills aside,
Oh boy,
I'm doing
please.
just fine, Dave. If we had recorded on Monday, our usual recording night, it probably would have been, well, we wouldn't have had the Bills result yet, but still, it would have been a lot different attitude for me, for
Yeah.
sure. But I'm doing okay. I'll just start right with the Giants since we're kind of lagging about it right here, or
Yep.
yapping about it right here. There's nothing to say.
Oh,
I can get on here and say the same thing every week. The defense is playing hard. The injuries are brutal. Now Thibodeau's hurt, while he was starting to round out as a pass rusher, make some big defensive plays. Looks like he's going to be out a few weeks. They signed Jacob Eason for a backup quarterback, but still sticking with the Tommy DeVito experience. It's like a 70s jazz band you see in like a small Holiday Inn in Buffalo, New York, where it's
oh
like,
boy.
yeah, the Tommy DeVito experience.
Mm.
Settle in, folks, for 3.5 hours of garbage football.
Oh,
But, you know, what can the Giants do, when you're three deep at critical spots like quarterback and left tackle?
yeah.
Um, what can you do? No personnel department, no general manager, no coaching staff can be held accountable. I believe the fire Dable, which isn't very loud. I don't know if you've heard a lot of that, but um, people are wondering that because the Giants are one of the worst teams in the league, so there's always attrition at the end of the year. But I don't think that would be fair. You got to give them at least half a season next year with a healthy
No. Oh,
Daniel
yeah.
Jones, right?
Yeah, definitely. I've heard some of it. I've seen some of it. It's not, I would agree. It's not super loud, because I think everybody can kind of realize, the
Right.
number of issues, that they have as a team. Um, but still,
The thing that kills me, of course, is that we had to play with that crew against the Cowboys.
yeah.
To have them clown us and just run roughshod and have career years for several of their wide receivers, and it was just I it was insult on top of injury. So what can I say? But I mean, I don't want to get on here every week and say the same thing, but it is what it is. Will they get Jacob Eason up to speed by Thanksgiving and the bye week? Who care? Who knows? And probably who cares, Dave? If he was any decent, he would have been on the roster already.
Yeah.
Excuse me. A little tuna
Yeah.
sandwich in my throat. Yeah.
Yeah. There's really not a lot to say. I mean, the Giants are just not a good team right now.
Hmm.
Plain and
That's
simple.
it.
They're just not a good team. And totally agree with you. Unfortunate that, they get the Sunday afternoon late afternoon window in a
Yeah.
game at the beginning of the year. I think, the NFL and everybody else thought, oh, this will be a really good game.
Right.
And they just get stomped,
Yeah.
just stomped. And so it doesn't help that it's against the Cowboys.
No, definitely not. So they had the Commanders this week, which we've, when Daniel Jones is playing, he's got a really good record against them. They've obviously, thrown up the white flag defensively, but, they've been playing much better offensively lately, and Sam Howell's proven he can throw the ball around. So I'm not expecting, great things this week. I'll watch all year, but there's really not much else to say unless something crazy happens with the Giants going forward.
Yeah. Yeah. And the Commanders
2023.
favored by 9 at
Ouch.
home in this game. That's really all you need to know. I know we've seen some
Right.
crazy lines this year into the double digits and whatnot. But if you take it in the context of an NFL game, 9 points is a lot.
Yes. Division opponent,
Division
all of that
opponent.
stuff should not be 9. So
Yeah.
that's
No,
how
it
bad
shouldn't, but that's an indication of how bad the Giants are.
well, let's talk about your Bills then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they lose again. They play this game against Denver, and again they get off to a slow start. Again, they turn the ball over on the first drive of the game, and it just continued to just shoot themselves in the foot. We know this team is talented. I mean, there are a lot of injuries on the defensive side of the ball. Okay. They're missing 5 defensive starters in this game. You take any NFL defense and take out 5 defensive starters, your team is going to struggle.
Right.
That being said, they've still only allowed 184 points defensively. They fight hard. They do. But when it's come right down to it, and we've seen this in multiple games this year, i.e. the Patriots game and in this Denver game, the offense, puts it together at the end, gets the lead, and they hand it over to the defense, and, they walk right down the field. You get a bad pass interference call against Taron Johnson that sets the Broncos up almost in field goal range. Actually, right in field goal range.
Field goal range. They didn't run a forward offensive play after that.
Just a couple of kneels.
Yeah.
Couple of kneel downs, and then you have just the absolutely inexcusable 12 men on the field. Certainly when they're kneeling down and calling timeouts. I mean, I know that, it's there at the end of the game and they're rushing things out, but it's not like they kicked it on second down or something, where it was like a surprise. I mean,
right. And there was 17 seconds. It wasn't 7 seconds, so when you had the shift change, it was a little bit of a scramble, of course, but it wasn't.
Yeah.
It didn't have to be lightning quick. I agree. So,
yeah.
And this far in the season, if you're on, field goal block team, it, either you are or you're not. It should not have been an issue.
Completely inexcusable. And then, so that 12 men on the field, if you haven't seen this, then so Will Lutz misses the field goal. They get the penalty, advances them, 5 yards, and then he makes the next field goal. So just another crushing defeat. And, the Bills are 5-5. Looking at the standings, they are the only team in the AFC, Mike, with 5 conference losses.
Right. And that's the killer. I mean,
that's
you beat that drum all season, and you're exactly right.
Yeah,
that's
5 conference losses. Now, they are one of only 2 conference teams to have played 7 games. Sure. Okay. But they're the only team with 5 conference losses, and that is going to kill them. They'd be out of the playoffs. The last 2 weeks, if the playoffs began, they would be out. Can they still win? Of course they can. I mean, Miami is there at 6-3, coming off of their bye. Buffalo has already beaten them, still has another game with them. It's not out of reach. Okay. So then Tuesday they fire Ken Dorsey. Not a surprise. Yeah, literally get out of here. They had to do something, and I think, you said it, or I saw somebody else say it, saw a couple people say it actually. You can't fire Ken Dorsey because they had 12 men on the field. Calm down. That's okay. Now I did see the Mad Dog whether it was today or yesterday, and he made a comment that, if they don't have 12 men on the field and Will Lutz misses the field goal and Buffalo 6-4, does Ken Dorsey get fired? Probably not. Probably not.
Yeah.
Well, but it doesn't change the fact that the offense has struggled. Ken Dorsey is the main control of the offense. Something had to give. This team is 5-5.
Well, I think you said it best when you first started and said again, the first half, they just come out sluggish. If that's the case, as an offensive coordinator, you have to pick up the pace, go some, quick huddle, sugar huddle type stuff and get the ball moving, especially in that offense.
Yeah.
And to do that for an entire first half for several games in a row, that's why Ken Dorsey got fired.
Yep.
Will Joe Bradley be the answer? It'd be interesting to see for sure. He's had some success around the league, in Jacksonville and Detroit in the past. But
and
so Dave, here's the
and
rest
his
of
brother Joe Brady.
Yeah, him too, both of them. Here's the rest of the teams. Now you're talking about, can the Bills win?
Yeah.
Listen to the teams they have left: Jets, Eagles, Chiefs, Cowboys, Chargers, Patriots, and Dolphins. Aside from that, Chargers, Patriots, and even the Chargers, as we saw this past week with Detroit, are a tough team if they ever get it together. There's no cream puffs there. You're talking about some big boys you're playing, the back half of the season. You do have the bye week in 2 weeks, which will come at a great time for them.
In between the Eagles and Chiefs.
So, you got an uphill battle, worse than what the Bengals have done to themselves the last few years, because they've done it at the beginning of the season.
Yeah.
Now at 5-5 with 5, conference losses, that's not good. Not good.
Yeah. Yeah. It's not. And I agree, outside of New England, no cupcakes. And all of these teams battling, right? It's not, You're not up against, the Chargers right now are 4-5. So, that's going to be a game that, if the Chargers are, hanging around 500, they're going to need to win, and they're going to want to win. They're playing, with the bye, of course, but at Philadelphia, the bye week, at Kansas City, at the Chargers, at Miami. It's a brutal end to the season, which we knew was going to be the case. So we thought, okay, there's some games earlier on that, games that, we thought the Bills, would win pretty easily, and they've just struggled. So we'll see. There needs to be some offensive changes. There's no doubt about that. I haven't seen anything recently about this, but I know there was some scuttlebutt that Matt Milano might be back this year.
I was just going to ask you that.
That would be a major lift for the defense, obviously. I don't know. We'll see. I haven't heard anything recently about it. I know that they were saying, well, he might be back. That would be a lift. So, we'll see, but it's still in front of them. It's still in front of them. It's just, the challenge is, it's a very difficult road.
Absolutely. So I ask it very often, what's the sphincter level of the Buffalo Bill fan? One being poop through a goose. I can never get that right. And 10 being cutting diamonds. Where are the sphincters of the Buffalo Bills right now?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's 7 or 8 right now. It can't be anything else, but just because, again, looking at the schedule, if you had some different games on the schedule, like if we had Carolina coming up, or Atlanta, or, other teams other than who they're playing the rest of the way, I think you could, think differently. But every game is going to be a massive battle. But again, the talent is there. They've just got to put it together. We've seen teams do it, many times, not just, not the Bills. They're right in it. They're right there. But we just haven't seen life out of them in a month.
Right. Absolutely. Speaking of lifeless, Deshaun Watson's season is now over.
What a
piece
segue.
of crap organization that is the Browns had a big win though against the Ravens,
Oh yeah.
33-31.
Yep.
Dave, this is the Ravens' seventh second half, um, giving up a lead in the second half since the beginning of last year. So
Wow.
third this year, four last year, mostly in the second half of the season last year. So there's a little, seedy underbelly of the Ravens, which why I think that is,
Mm-hmm.
um, with Lamar's um, arm, but the Browns it's kind of too bad if you're a Browns fan, which I do have sympathy for their fans
Sure.
because it's just been so long since they've been successful,
Mm-hmm.
and finally Deshaun was turning back into the All-Pro player he had been in the past,
Mm.
and the defense is really really good and all of that, and now they got PJ Walker and he's okay, but it's just not the same, and their season, you know, for all intents and purposes. I mean, it's still in front of them. They're at 6-3, but boy, they got a long, hard road ahead
Mm-hmm.
with a backup quarterback. So, um, and the Ravens play tonight against the Bengals. So, a huge interdivision game. If you're the Ravens, you don't want to go back to back losses in division
Yep. And
for
the
sure.
Browns are playing the Steelers. So the whole division playing each other this week.
Right.
Um, you
Yeah.
look at Cleveland's schedule. I mean, they have the Broncos. So you go, the Rams, Jacksonville, the Bears, the Texans, the Jets, and the Bengals to end. So it's a little mix in there
Right.
with the Browns. I did see, Mike, and I don't know if you saw this. I saw this meme today that was Deshaun Watson with the Predator um,
I did
garb
see that.
on and like the
Yeah. Yeah.
four like women around him.
I
Like,
just like 10 minutes before we came on.
oh my gosh. I mean, this people are gonna have a field day with that. They already have.
Yeah.
But yeah, Deshaun Watson done. And we'll see what happened. The Browns actually favored by one at home against the Steelers on Sunday. So uh, we'll
Interesting
see. We'll see what happens. That's in the 1 o'clock time slot
window.
there. Mike, I
Dave, I
think
want to talk about Houston and Cincinnati real quick.
great. That is
Um,
exactly where I was going to go.
oh, okay. Just CJ Stroud all of a sudden is
Yeah.
like a very, very good quarterback. And now, he gets his first game winning touchdown drive of his career. He goes 22 for 39 for 356, a touchdown and an interception. Bounces back from a late interception and still drives them down for the win. And the Bengals take a rough loss, a team that's kind of been back on a roll. I've been big on them lately, and this loss is hurtful.
Yeah.
Again, as you say, in the conference, it's very hurtful. And Houston's got a little something going on there with D'Amico Ryan's a coach, and Stroud's making guys like Tank Dell, a viable wide receiver, and it's just it's interesting to see, especially when you see his counterpart in Carolina that everyone thought was going to be a little bit better. I can't
Oh,
remember his first
Bryce Young.
Young, Bryce Young, yeah. Um, you know, Coming out of college, they kind of thought that Bryce Young had more accolades in college,
Mm-hmm.
but C.J. Stroud was bigger, faster, stronger, and that's really paying off for the Houston Texans. Very interesting.
Yep, for sure. Geez, what was I just looking at? Don't forget my guy Motor, Devin Singletary, had 30 carries for 150 yards and a touchdown in this game.
Yeah,
Kind of waiting for him to do some nice things there. And so it was nice to see him do well. Certainly nice to see the Texans beat up the Bengals and win. That's by 30-27 in Cincinnati as well. So you're talking about
right.
CJ Stroud and this Texans team winning on the road. So
Yeah,
good for them. Yeah,
very good.
I mean, they've got 5 wins, Mike. That's I
I'm
mean,
sure that's close to the over
nobody.
for the
Oh, it's
season.
probably the over. I think the
Probably over, yeah.
Texans were one of the one or two worst teams.
I agree. Where do you want to go
So,
next, buddy?
well, we should talk about shoot, where is it? Brendan Burke's Detroit Lions.
Yep, absolutely.
Quite the flying back and forth with the Chargers. Kind of too bad this game wasn't, you couldn't really see it.
In the national
Um,
spotlight. Yeah,
yeah,
I
in the
agree.
national spotlight. I mean, I get it. It's Lions, it's Chargers, it's, in LA in the later time slot there, but 41-38, Mike, with, both quarterbacks playing well, and just a really nice game. You got David Montgomery comes back for the Lions and does well. Justin Herbert throws for 4 touchdowns. Keenan Allen is all over the place. Just a really, really, just a real exciting game. And the Lions are 7-2 and 4-1 on the road.
Yeah, a really great job by Dan Campbell and having this team bounce back and really getting them ready. And I guess you wouldn't have known this watching it, but he called a play that they got beat on the year before by the Chargers, and it was like was 4th and 2, to win the game, and he called the same play kind of like a slap in the face, like, oh, you did it to us, now we're going to do it to you, kind of thing. I saw that in one of the tape breakdowns this week. But Dave, let's do a little thought experiment real quick while we're here.
Okay.
How many quarterbacks can you name before you'd rather have Jared Goff? Or let me do it this way. Have you ever see these guys that do this with the NBA? They take one player, let's say, Jason Tatum. Would you rather have, Giannis or Tatum? Would you rather have, and they go down some comparable type stars. So would you rather have, well, Justin Herbert or Jared Goff right now? Let's go right there.
Yeah, I mean, Goff has been really good this year. I mean, I think, thinking about if you're saying like right now at this moment, I think you take Goff. Because Justin Herbert just has been very inconsistent this year. So I mean, let's remember, folks, Jared Goff took a team to the Super Bowl.
Right.
With,
not a ton of talent.
No.
Yeah, they got killed in the Super Bowl, but still.
Yeah, but
Trevor Lawrence or Jared Goff, who would you rather have right now?
Again, I think you'd have to take Goff.
Yep.
I mean, I like the I like oh my gosh, Lawrence. I do.
Sure.
But he's been up and down.
David Carr, Jared Goff.
Oh, Goff.
Or Derek Carr.
Yeah. Either one.
Either one of the brothers.
Either one of the
Goff,
brothers.
Easy.
Goff. Yep.
Who's my boy in Seattle?
Geno Smith.
Jared Goff.
Boy, that one's a little bit closer because Geno Smith has played a little bit better, more consistently, I would say. But I think you still have to take Goff at this point.
All right. So last one. Dak Prescott, Jared Goff.
Right now, you have to take Dak. He might be playing. He's right there as playing one of the best in the league.
I wanted you to say Goff for
I know you did. I know you did. That's okay.
You're right. I know you're right.
It's all right.
I know you're right. No,
you're okay.
Right. All right,
okay.
Buddy. Thank you for indulging me in that thought.
Yeah, of course.
All right. What else you got here?
Well, a game that we had said, as we talk about Trevor Lawrence, a game that we had said, might really show where the Jaguars are. Oh, it really showed where the Jaguars are, or maybe it was more a statement about where the 49ers want to be. An absolute stomping of the Jaguars, 34-3. And the game just wasn't close. Wasn't that close at all. Um,
Well, I was thinking about Brendan Burke during our tier maker. He really was on that, said that, Jacksonville hadn't played anybody yet. And, they've got a kind of a paper tiger there. And,
yep.
according to that one game, I still think they're a little better than they're getting credit for. But yeah, according to that game, they're not ready to step up and take on the big boys of the NFL.
Nope. Nope. And the 49ers said, okay, we had lost 3 in a row, but we're back. We're off our
Well, when you
bye.
get Trent Williams and Debo back and McCaffrey got, the week off to get healthy, that all three of those made a big difference, of course.
Yeah. Oh,
but,
huge difference.
One game I think we have to mention just real quick is the Cardinals and the Falcons. Kyler Murray comes back, and you forgot for a second, at least I did, how athletic he is, even at his small size and his vulnerability and his, I'm going to say kindly, his lack of intelligence. He does run around, man, and make plays happen. And, that it came to bite the Falcons right in the behind.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals get a 25-23 win. And I think, if this would lose with us, I would say there's some money to be made on that team for a couple of weeks until people remember, that Kyler Murray did get drafted high for a reason, did become the franchise quarterback for a reason. I think he has a short ceiling, no pun intended. But, he's still a quality, competitive, athletic quarterback back there. And, yes, it was the Falcons. I understand their defense is not world beaters, but still. And good for him for getting healthy and getting back on the field, frankly.
Sure. Yeah. It's hard to forget
people losing jobs. Yeah.
Yeah. Hard to forget his the crazy finish against the Raiders last year when he's running all over the field and back and forth, throws the touchdown, and then, goes in for the 2-point conversion. So he's definitely very, very capable.
And of course, you have the Hail Murray against you guys a couple of years ago.
Okay, I wasn't going to bring that up, but all right. They didn't win a game after that, by the way.
No, they did not.
And so, it is what it is there. But yeah, good for the Cardinals. They get just their second win of the year, move to a wonderful 2-8 record.
Yeah. I think that probably does it for week 10 as far as competitive games, unless there's something else you got.
Nope. We got
at you.
Everything I got on there. And, as we're talking here on Thursday, and Mike had already mentioned this, Bengals at Ravens will be starting shortly. It's the Amazon Prime Thursday night game.
Ravens, a good prime time schedule. All three games are decent.
Yep. Ravens favored by 4 in this game. So we'll see, right. You're talking about two teams coming off, I don't want to say crushing defeats, but difficult losses for both teams. So from last week, so
this is a must win, right, for the Bengals. They cannot lose another conference game to the Ravens.
And a divisional game too. I mean, they go to 6-4 if they win, and Baltimore it would be 7-4. I mean, that puts them right there. It would certainly be a crushing loss. It wouldn't kill them, but it's, I agree with you. It's more about it is a must win for Cincinnati. No doubt about that.
The 1 o'clock window is brutally bad, dude.
Well, you do have Steelers, Browns. Yeah. But
I mean, Bears, Lions, Cardinals, Raiders, Dolphins coming off
Cowboys, Panthers.
Oof.
Yeah, Chargers, Green Bay. It's pretty slim pickings.
What about your Bills and
not
Jets,
good.
4.25.
Yeah. So the Jets and Bills is on. I saw the map yesterday or today. It's on in like 90% of the US. Just some West Coasts are getting Seattle and the Rams. So pretty much the entire country is going to see this. This is a must win for the Bills. A must win. They're favored by 7. I don't see how they're favored by 7. I know the Jets are struggling offensively, but uh, the Bills need to really show me something to say that they're 7 points better than anybody right now. But this is an absolute must win. They're 1-2 in the division. We mentioned already the 5 losses in the conference. They've got to win this game, Mike. They have to. The Dolphins playing earlier in the day against the Raiders. So we'll know, right then and there. If the Dolphins lose, then the Bills, the Dolphins would be 6-4, the Bills would be 6-5. That'd be really nice. But it's a must win regardless of what the Dolphins do. The Bills just have to win this game. They have to come out. We have to see some changes on offense, pacing, like you mentioned, spreading the ball around. I've seen a lot of people are saying they need to see more fire from Josh Allen. Not seeing enough
I think that's been an issue.
Yeah, I don't think it has either. No, but I've seen some of that. Again, there's lots of stuff on both sides that you can go find on the internet, of course.
Oh, sure.
But yeah, it's a must win for the Bills. No two ways around it.
Interesting. The gambling public so far, Jets +7 is getting 55% of the money. But the Bills money line is getting 51% of the money. So people are still undecided between who's going to win straight up. And then the over-under is 39.5.
Oh,
and 92% of people are betting the over, which to me as a contrarian says bet the under, but betting unders are not fun.
No, it's definitely not. And it's interesting when you see, a lot of, like you said, 55%, taking the Jets +7.
Right.
And then you have this over under. I mean, if the Jets win, it's probably going to be under.
Right. That's right.
So
they'll probably They'll have a great
defensively. Yeah.
Right.
So that's interesting, to say the least. And that's like, again, in the later slot. And then Sunday night, probably a little bit. But a little bit more interesting, I think, than a couple of weeks ago. You would have said this game's terrible, but you have the Vikings at 6-4, going to and Denver's favored by 2.5, Mike, in this game. I don't understand that at all. The Vikings are playing well.
It's going to be the Josh Dobbs. How many times are we going to hear the story about? On the Cardinals, traded, gets the win, which is a great story. Don't get me wrong. But
he was on the Browns roster at the beginning of the year. Don't forget.
Right. That's right. I forgot that.
So
we're going to hear that story quite a bit. But that'll be an interesting game. I think it's a clash in styles for sure. I don't know if Justin Jefferson's coming back for this one or not. I think this is what he was targeting originally.
I don't know. But I haven't seen anything yet.
Monday we got the big game of the week, maybe
big game of the season.
Super Bowl preview. A lot of saying Eagles and Chiefs.
Super Bowl rematch.
Yeah, good point. Very good point. Chiefs favored -2.5, so essentially the home field
feels about right.
That's right. Over at 45.5. Both teams coming off a bye. Now Andy Reid, notoriously good off a bye, 27-4 in his career, including the playoffs, coming off a bye week, which is tremendous.
I feel like, and I have not looked at this, but I feel like the last few years I've paid a little bit more attention to that, and like the teams that they've played coming off of the bye weeks have been pretty bad. Again, that's just my feeling that I remember. I could be way off on that. That this will not be the case in this game. Obviously, you're playing a pretty good Eagles team.
Yeah, and again, not to tip a future lose with us, but or potential future lose with us, but I kind of like the Eagles pass rush versus the Chiefs offensive line in this game.
Yeah.
Not that I want to root for a division opponent, but at this point, what do I care? I mean, we're not going anywhere this year, so although the Eagles secondary certainly beat up, and the Chiefs, but the Chiefs have, as we know, have struggled. They've been a little bit smoke and mirrors this year. is the Travis Kelsey distraction off field. I won't mention her name because I know you don't want me
Please
to.
don't.
Is that going to catch up to them finally? I mean, he was in Argentina, last week during their bye week and all that. And the the focus, the microscope that's on them, but they're used to it from the Super Bowls and stuff. They should be fine. I think Kelsey will be fine. It's the other guys, that have to step up for this Chiefs team. But when you have Patrick Mahomes, anything, the world is your oyster. So be a very, very good game, I think. Probably the best, like you said, Super Bowl rematch, and probably the best Monday night game they're going to have all year. So
yeah, let's just hope it lives up to the hype, right? You can see a lot of these things happen and
almost never do, unfortunately.
Yeah, unfortunately, but you just hope that these teams are just come out and play well, and we don't see a lot of mistakes and lopsided one-sided wins. But you never know. It just that's why they play the games, as they say.
And then your bye weeks are Colts, Patriots, Falcons, and Saints. Adjust your fantasy lineups accordingly. If you have a Patriot on your fantasy team, you should be immediately kicked out of the league.
Yes, absolutely. Completely kicked out of the league. For something.
Did you see the video of Bill O'Brien just hammering Mac Jones on the sideline, just lighting him up like a Christmas tree in August? He was just on him.
I heard about it, and I did see today that Mac Jones is now the third quarterback in the sequence here. I think
they're going Bailey. It's Bailey Zappi time.
Yeah, Bailey Zappi, and then the other guy who I can't even
remember his name.
Yeah, I saw it earlier. I can't remember, and then Mac Jones. So yeah, it's
that's easy to say during the bye week too. There's a lot of head games going on there, but
but
that might have been one of the worst interceptions I've seen Mac Jones threw. If you haven't seen it, wide open wide receiver in the end zone by 10 yards, and he underthrows it by 15, and practically a fair catch, I believe, was by a Colts player. And just brutal when he gets benched, and Bill O'Brien just in his ear wearing it out. It was beautiful. It was nice old school football to see.
Yep. Nothing though beats Cam Newton's throw when he was with the Patriots.
Yeah.
That one that just was like 3 yards and bounced, and I don't know. For me, that's like that one.
I can't believe we're living in a world where Cam Newton was on the Patriots. I forgot about that.
Yeah.
I tried to wipe that from my memory.
Yep. That one pass I will never forget. It's just
that's fair.
Like with that and the butt fumble and a couple other things, but that one for sure, I'm like never going to forget that. One of the worst passes I've ever seen thrown in my life.
Well, speaking of memories, folks, remember us on the Instagram, the X, and Facebook. We're still out there getting it done. We've had a bunch of Twitter polls. Some that have done very, very well. Some that have 1 or 2 votes. So get out there and let us know what you think. We would appreciate it. Please keep continuing to follow us. Follow our Lose With Us podcast. Watch for us as college football winds down here. Yet we haven't done a college football only podcast, I think, this year, but that's okay. I can't believe 2 weeks left, Dave, in regular season college football.
Yep.
It seems like it just started. But in the meantime, we're watching everything. We're reporting back to you, our tens of fans. We thank you so much here at Think Tank Sports, where we think and you listen as we strive for 5. Good night, everybody.
See ya.